We have big breaking news coming in right now. These are the visuals we are getting from the Israeli parliament right now. Trump is there for the historic signing of the peace deal of Gaza. And currently, you can see over there, he will be speaking very shortly. He will be addressing the Israeli parliament right before this signing.
העברת את השגרירות האמריקאית לירושלים השלמה והמאוחדת. תודה לך, הנשיא טראמפ. משחר הקמתה נאלצה מדינת ישראל להילחם, אך תמיד הושיטה את ידה לשלום. לפני 5 שנים הובלת יחד עם ראש הממשלה נתניהו את הסכמי אברהם. זכיתי, כן, מגיע. זכיתי לכהן בממשלה שחתמה עליהם.
See these visuals coming in directly from Israel, where US President Donald Trump is currently there. He will be addressing the Israeli parliament, which is called the Knesset, and he will be speaking and addressing the parliamentarians over there. Remember, today is a historic day as the Gaza peace deal will be signed in Egypt. And the Prime Minister of Israel, that is Benjamin Netanyahu, will not be going for that event. But before that, we see Donald Trump, along with Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff, in the Israeli parliament. And when they entered, they got a standing ovation during their entrance, and they received a standing ovation. Also, before Donald Trump entered the Parliament House, he wrote on the guest book, he signed it, and he wrote, "This is my great honor, a great and beautiful day, a new beginning." And currently he sits there waiting to address the parliamentarians over there on this historic day when the hostages have been released. All the living hostages who were taken away by Hamas 2 years ago are now released. And it is expected that in Egypt, the peace deal will be signed in the presence of Donald Trump. And remember, this is a plan that Donald Trump floated. He got all the stakeholders on board. He convinced all the countries who could help in negotiating with Hamas, and he also got Israel on board his plan. And currently, as we wait for him to speak, we'll just inform you that the signing will happen in Egypt, where the Egyptian Prime Minister has invited many world leaders to witness this historic day. Amongst them will be almost 20 world leaders. The Prime Minister of UK, the President of France will also be in attendance, and also the Prime Minister of UK will be there while this deal will be signed. And as you can see, a standing ovation there for Donald Trump.
כבוד הנשיא, היום העם היהודי מציין את סיום חג הסוכות, ומחר נציין את שמחת תורה. בשמחת תורה לפני 2 לא שמחנו. היה זה היום הקשה ביותר שחוותה מדינת ישראל משחר הקמתה והעם היהודי.
Show you the photograph there of the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, gifting the golden dove. Remember, the dove is a symbol of peace. He is gifting that to Donald Trump for his peace plan and for his efforts to bring all the stakeholders on board and getting the peace deal signed. Remember, this war has been going on for 2 years. Many people have lost their lives. Families were waiting for the hostages to return. Palestinians, they're suffering, the common Palestinians suffering because of blockade of aid, hunger, children starving. All this is now expected to stop as you can also see on your screens, as the photographs of the released hostages meeting their families after 2 years. Joining us now is India Today's Gaurav Sawant. Gaurav, this is a historic day today. And one would not be surprised that when the Israeli parliament listens to Donald Trump, they will be hailing him as someone who has brought in at least some sort of semblance of peace now for now. And we do see that as a symbol that was gifted to him, that golden dove, by Benjamin Netanyahu as well.
This is truly, truly historic. We've been covering this from the 7th of October 2023, and after more than 700 days, the remaining 20 hostages, the ones who are still alive, are finally back home. Some have made video calls to their loved ones. Some are meeting their loved ones. And to a very large extent, they have all said, this is curtsy Donald Trump. It would not have happened without Donald Trump. That's the kind of acknowledgement the American president is getting right now. And from across the world, the fact that this is finally happening is a very major development that is taking place. Remember, there were many false starts. Remember, there were instances in the past that some hostages were returned, but others were moved. But Donald Trump finally, he sent in his Steve Witkoff, his special representative, his son-in-law, Jared Kushner. They worked ends. They spoke to Qatar. They spoke to Saudi Arabia. They spoke to Egypt. They spoke to Jordan. They spoke to Turkey. And when everyone mounted pressure on Hamas, finally Hamas has returned all the hostages dead and alive. But what next is the biggest question. So Donald Trump is hopeful that peace will prevail. Donald Trump is hopeful that people finally want peace and an end to the war. He's also said that right now the main effort is to remove all the rubble from Gaza, converting that area into French Riviera, some kind of a Gaza Riviera is a project that may have to be shelved. But as of now, they will just move ahead to restore the lives of people in that area.
Right, absolutely. And one of the biggest challenges that Benjamin Netanyahu was facing internally was the issue of hostages. We had seen multiple protests by the common Israelis against the government, against Netanyahu. So this would be a huge relief politically as well that Trump has given to him, almost handed him on the silver platter to Netanyahu.
You're absolutely right. This was actually becoming Netanyahu's Achilles heel, because despite waging this war on Hamas and so many fatalities and casualties, 66,000 and more, the hostages were still out of his reach, despite Israeli troops on ground. So much so that they mounted this massive operation, which was called Endgame Hamas. But before mounting that massive operation, the hostages have come home. It actually is an exit, a safe exit, even for Benjamin Netanyahu. And so many lives were lost, even in Israel. The war was becoming extremely unpopular. He was becoming unpopular. Protests were rising. Last year, when we were reporting from Tel Aviv, protests just kept escalating, that you're unable to bring back hostages and more fatalities are happening. So in all of it, finally, there appears to be, an honorable exit for Benjamin Netanyahu into the conflict for now. It remains to be seen if Hamas leaves power in Gaza and whether peace returns to that area. All eyes on that. Donald Trump is hopeful and he'll try and ensure that peace returns to Gaza.
Right. Also, Gaurav, we have to understand this is a beginning. And the fact that someone like Hamas has been brought on a platform and made to agree to certain terms, that's a huge deal. Because the kind of attitude we'd seen from Hamas for years, it is something, quite an achievement that some negotiation was managed and they did relent to many demands.
You're absolutely right. Hamas also was brought to the negotiations table finally. Their entire top leadership wiped out. Iran bombed, Hezbollah decimated. When all of that happened, the support base disappeared. Also, the kind of, the pincer move that Israel put on Hamas, they would have still remained in a position to fight. And if you notice, some of their fighters were in uniform with weapons even today. It would have become a never-ending war. But hopefully now, peace would return to this region. a peace that was so elusive for so many decades.
Right. Thank you, Gaurav, for those details and analysis. So extremely important day today, as we said, historic day, as peace deal is expected to be signed today in Egypt. And President Donald Trump, who was the key figure who initiated and then eventually managed to bring it to culmination as well. This deal, he is there today at the Israeli parliament itself. You can see the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu also sitting over there, while the parliamentarians of the Israeli parliament give a standing ovation not just for Trump but also for Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, who have been instrumental in getting these negotiations done. It was an extremely difficult task, not an easy one, but at stake for multiple things. The innocence of Gaza, the Palestinians who were almost starving to death, as well as the lives of the hostages. Joining us right now is India Today's Pranay Upadhyay. Pranay, do tell us the importance of the day and also what it means for Trump, his leadership, what he wants to project, and what it actually means on ground as well. Because Trump may say a lot of things, but some of it has become true now.
What he wants is the thing he is getting right now. The standing ovation in Knesset, in the Israeli parliament, everyone clapping, everyone thanking him that at least he brokered this peace deal. There is a peace, and for after 72 hours, there is no operation in this Gaza Strip area, and also after 738 days, at least the Israeli hostages are, have returned back to their families, to their loved ones. So definitely, it's a big achievement. It's a big day. However, the next step or the next part of this visit to Middle East will be very important, because he will be heading to Egypt. And there, just a while ago, because his speech to the Israeli parliament got delayed because they had a phone call between Fattah el-Sisi, the president of Egypt, and Prime Minister of Israel, and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will also accompany President Donald Trump to Sharm el-Sheikh, where the 20 world leaders will also be there. In fact, that is going to be an endorsement, that is going to be a validation of this Gaza peace plan. Palestine will be represented by Mahmoud Abbas, the president of Palestinian Authority. He will be present there, and this is definitely a big and a very significant thing. After the 738 days, at least the conflict has come to an end. This is what President Donald Trump wanted to give the message, that finally this war is over. But how this war will get over, what will be the future, there are certain things which are still unknown, Anjali, because the Annexure B of this Gaza peace plan, whatever has been agreed on this 20-point Gaza peace plan, the Annexure B is still not known. So there are still many questions unanswered, that, how it is going to get implemented, how, Hamas will lay down their arms, will they lay down their arms, who is going to secure the situation there in Gaza, what will be the structure of the ISF, International Stabilization Force, who all will be contributing their troops for this International Stabilization Force, whether the Palestinian people will accept that or not. So there are things which are still left. But as far as the hostages are concerned, and as far as the prisoners are concerned, Anjali, some of the prisoners from, everyone is talking about the hostages of Gaza, but there are certain prisoners who have returned, since in the last 30-40 years. They have remained in Israeli jails. So they have also managed to come out due to thanks to this peace deal. And around 1,700 Gazans have also are also returning back to Gaza Strip. So definitely a sigh of relief for the world as well. And definitely the aid workers are also taking a sigh of relief, and they are also activating a process to deliver the food deliveries, the medicines, and other aid to the Gaza Strip.
Absolutely, a huge relief for many families across both the borders. Thank you very much, Pranay, for those details.